Hi guys, now you have enough knowledge to start building your very first portfolio website. So before we go into the coding section, I would like to show you what we are going to actually build through this section. So this is how our final website will look like. It will contain a logo and a navigation bar and a hero section which will contain some background images, some text and a button to download your CV. Then next we have our about section which contains your profile photo and some details about you. A My Skills section which displays all your skills with amazing pop-up effects. And finally a contact form and a small footer section. Now let's implement this one, but one thing that you must make sure is that you need not include the same color palette, font, etc. You can fill in this with your details, profile pic. You may also change the background image to something and bring your own creativity into this. And also the website is not responsive for now. In the future, we will set up a video to make it responsive and fit for the mobile, tablet and the laptop screens. Now in the test editor, let's start building the website. For this, first let's create an index.html page. Let's introduce a boilerplate into this and change the title to your name. Let's save and see how does it look inside the web browser. See, your name has changed. Now let's change this logo. For that, first let's produce a logo with your initials. You can either download it directly from your Chrome or you can create one inside Canva account. See, here you have a wide varieties option of the logos. Here I have introduced a logo into our folder. Now let's link this logo into our site. For this we will use the link tab. Let's change the relationship of etc. Let's give the relationship as icon, type as image or the PNG and the href as our image location. Let's save and refresh. You can see that your logo has changed. To get a better understanding, let's open our final website in one of our tabs. So this is how our final website should look like. It will consist of a header section which consists of a logo and a navbar section. So first let's build this header section. Inside this we will have one main div which consists of two sub divs. One for the logo and the other for the navbar. Here you can see that our logo is just a text. So let's add it as an h1 element. Enter your name here. Now let's add the nav items into the nav bar. So we have 4 items which we can include in the unordered list. Inside this unordered list, I am creating the list items home, about, skills and contact. Let's save and refresh the page to see the changes. Here you can see that your nav bar has appeared as an unordered list. Now we should make it into links. For that we need to add these items into an A tag or anchor tag. Let's copy and paste this. We must also provide an href section to specify the address. For example, when you click on the home page, it should move on to the index.html page. Similarly for about, skills and contact section, but for now we are going to keep it in hash. Let's copy and paste this. Now let's save and refresh the page to see the changes. Now you can see that all the unordered list has changed into anchor tags or links. Now let's move on to our next section, that is a hero section which consists of two parts, a background image and some text. The background image will be dealt with in the CSS section. For now we will be focusing only on the text. First let's separate these header sections with some comments. So that's it. First let's create a section and name it as hero. You can give it an ID. Name as hero. It will consist of one main div, inside which you will have a div which contains all this text. Inside this we will create a sub div. Now this one looks like an H4 or an H3 tag. Let's use H4 tag for this. And then H1 tag for specifying the main name. You can see that we also have a button named as download CV, where you will basically place your CV. So button. So that's all in our header section. Let's save and refresh the page. Here you have the output. Now let's move on to our next section, that is the about section. The about section also consists of two subparts inside one main part, that is you will have two divs, one containing the image and the other containing the details contained inside a main div. So let's create this part. For this, first let's create a about section. Inside this you will create a section and give an ID as about. Inside this you will have one main div in which you will have two sub divs. So the first div will contain the image. Let's insert an image tag. So here you have to download your image into this folder. Now let's link the image to our site. So here I have completed the image tag, which consists of the source details and the alternative name. I have also specified the height and the width of the image as 300 pixels respectively. Now let's move on to our second div, which contains our details. So here we have an about me and some details followed by a button. Now let's add the about me. Let me give it in the H2 tag. And a paragraph which consists of some. Here I will introduce some lorem, but you shouldn't do the same. You should fill here with your details. So next we will need a button with the download CV written on it. So that's it about the about me section. Let's save and refresh. So now let's move on to our third section, that is a my skill section. Inside this you will have three sub divs inside one main div. Each of these div consists of a PNG image followed by an H3 element and a paragraph tag. Now let's download these PNG images. You can either download the static or the movable ones to make your website look more interesting. You will find a wide varieties of these in the Flaticon's website. Here I have introduced our skills images. I have downloaded them in the GIF format. Now let's add them to our website. First, let's create a skills section. Inside this, let's create a section named as skills. Inside this, we will have one main div, inside which we will have 3 sub divs. Each div represents each skills. Now let's work on our first div. Inside this, you can see that you have an image followed by a heading tag and also a paragraph. Let's first introduce our image. And an H3 tag for development. And also paragraph. You should give a description. Make sure you give your skills here. Don't just type random Lorem ipsum. Now let's give our image details. Let's give our source information. HTML.gif. And the alt image as web development image. Let's also specify the height and the width. In this case, we have taken the images from the same source, so all of them are of the similar sizes. But if you are taking from the different source, there are chances that all the web images may have different sizes. So first, we should bring them into the similar sizes. Let's save and refresh to see the changes. So we have got our first skill section. Now similarly, let's complete our second and the third div. We can copy paste the first one. Let's change the details. For example, the second we have design. Let's change it to paint palette. Web development image to design image. And for the third, we have coding GIF. Coding image. Here we can write coding. Now hit save and refresh. You can see that all the 3 divs are now completed. Sorry, I forgot to add the heading my skills into this. So let's add it. Under the main div, let's create an H2 tag. Say that we will write my skills. Let's save and refresh. Yeah, so my skill section is also done. So next what we need is a contact section. So let's create a form. In this, let's create our main section and give it ID name form. In this, let's create our main div and also a heading as let's connect. After this, let's create our form tag which holds all the form elements. So inside the form, we need 3 input elements and 1 submit button. So let's create 4 divs in total. Each div consists of a label and an input. Let's copy paste this to 4 divs. So inside the first div, let's give the label as name, and also the for also as name. Let's give the type as test. Now for the second, we will give email, or as email, the type also as email. So what we will create next is a message box, or as message. This we will replace the input with the test area. Here you can specify the columns and the rows. By changing this number, you can adjust the width and the length of the test area. Next, what we need is a submit button. For this, we will remove this label and remove this type and replace it with class button and also type submit. You have an extra div here, you can delete that. Let's save and refresh to view the changes. So there we have our form where we can type in our details and also the message box, which you can, after typing a message, you can submit. So as we have specified our type as email here, if we forgot to mention the H symbol, we will get an error. So that's all about the contact section. Now let's move on to our final and one of the simplest section, that is the footer section. In this, let's create a main section. In this footer, in this, let's create our main div and a small paragraph. Let's see how our footer section should look like. It should contain our name followed by a copyright symbol, the year and the all right reserved. So here let's type our name. To get the copyright symbol, we will write the ampersand sign followed by copy and a semicolon followed by the year and all right reserved. Let's save and view the changes. So this is how our footer looks like. All about HTML from my part. Don't be sad by seeing this 90s website. Soon it will become beautiful after we add CSS into it. So see you in the next section. Now that you have completed coding the HTML part of your website, let's upload it to GitHub. For this, first open your GitHub account. If you do not have one, create one. Click on this plus sign and select new repository. Fill in your repository name. You may add a description if you need. You may also add a README file. Now select on create repository. There are actually various ways in which you can add your files into the repo, but now I will be showing the most easiest one among them. Click on the uploading an existing file. A drag and drop box appears. Now open the folder which contains your files and select all the files and just drag and drop into this box. Let it upload. After it's done, click on commit changes. Now let's see how to publish this website to the net. For this, click on the settings button. Scroll down to pages. Here in the branches section, click on the main branch and select save. Now that's it. After 2 or 3 minutes, your website will be in the search engines. Let's refresh the page to see. Website has been uploaded. Click on this site. So that's it. See you in the next section.